Hello, folks, and welcome to On Flow Friday on Raw News and Politics. I am the usual co-host, Alex from Devil's Advocate Productions over on YouTube and Twitch. But today Gina is sadly out, but I am here to take over. Um, and speaking of takeover, let me show you all what I've been doing. Jay-Z had some shows at Yankee Stadium, so I did a reaction to his album, The Blueprint. It's the 25th anniversary of that. I've also had all his other albums, starting with Reasonable Doubt, on a playlist that you can check out. And I also did Nas's Stillmatic. And the reason I made that takeover joke is because the takeover is the diss that Jay-Z put towards Nas and Mobb Deep. And Nas, of course, famously countered with Ether off Stillmatic. This is what I do, okay? I talk about movies, music, TV, and video games on my channel, Devil's Advocate Productions on YouTube and on Twitch. I'll stream games. I'll talk about, make game trailer reactions. We'll cover the Game Awards with my friends, album reactions, movie reviews, video game reviews. And I do this because I love movies and I love entertainment. And I want to highlight my favorite stuff and I want to talk about my favorite stuff. But also, I do this for a particular reason. The right wing has, for a long time, marched forward with the ethos politics is downstream from culture. Andrew Breitbart said that. You may recognize the name from the demonic website Breitbart.com that gave us Steve Bannon. Yes, I know, misanthropic prophet. It is very random that I'm here. GINA, sadly, is out today, but I'm taking over. I got you. It's going to be a long show. I got a lot to talk about. And I lead with, if you're wondering why I'm here, it's because both Gina and I are contributors to this space. This space is a working class collective on YouTube, put together by some great folks, Andrew Ravinsky, Matt Letterhack, Ben Dixon, myself, Gina, Boston Brian, Left of the Box. And we are going live Mondays through Thursdays with live content and syndicated content. It'll be clipped out and posted in the videos. We got shorts. We got live. Like I said, we're live Monday through Thursdays. That's how Gina and I know each other. That's why I am the co-host here. Don't worry, Tim. I got you covered. I got you covered with the news of the week. And I thought we'd start with something a little fun, right? I'm just introducing you to who I am, and I will be doing that after every segment so that Gina knows how to cut this up later, because I have an editor's brain, and that's what we're doing. So first things first. I'm going to cover Trump's speech. We're going to go for that. For those of us who are unfamiliar with you, yes, the 3 p.m. crowd who is just signing in, I appreciate that. Once again, I am Alex of Devil's Advocate Productions on YouTube and Twitch. This is my channel where I have movie reviews, interviews with Jeff Waldorf of Logical Leftist, another contributor to this space where I am a host and Gina is a host. And there are like 20 hosts. We are live Monday through Thursdays on YouTube. We are trying to eventually get to a 24/7 leftist working class network where if some breaking news is happening and you go, who's live? Who can I watch? We're going to be live. That's the goal. That's the rule. That's the objective. And, we have interviews. We have guests. Had Lindsey Boylan on, friend of the show, who thankfully got rid of Cuomo here in my home state of New York. But I wanted to begin today with something a little fun before we get into Trump's speech and the deviousness there. I wanted to talk a little bit about movies because that, again, is what I do. I talk about movies, music, TV, video games. And this weekend, a big movie is coming out. I might go see it. I'm actually getting interested in it. I had no interest, but much like when Oppenheimer and Barbie came out, and there was a cultural kind of mood to go see both of those movies, the Barbenheimer experience, I got swept up in it. Not enough to go out to the theater, but enough to watch Barbie when it came out on video. And I kind of have that urge with Odyssey, where I might even want to go see it in the theater. But I know that there's a cultural conversation around it. Like Andrew Breitbart said, politics is downstream from culture. And he kind of mistook that, right? He thought, oh, Hollywood is the one who's putting gay people in sitcoms and gay people in movies and black people in sitcoms and movies and commercials and interracial couples, normalizing all of this stuff. They're normalizing it, so then we get gay marriage. We get equal rights. Really, it's the other way around. People's moods and tastes change, and so Hollywood caters to those. That's what happens. But if you're confused like Andrew Breitbart or these folks on the Piers Morgan program, you might think otherwise. So there's a lot to do about Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. These two gentlemen, this is Nerd Erotic, this is Critical Drinker. This dude is the dude whose video it is. What is it? The Birdman. Shout out Birdman. We've got Mark Lamont Hill. I don't know these two gentlemen. And Piers Morgan. All we need is this setup. Let's let Piers ask the question.
Agreed to stay here. Now, Victor teed this up by saying at the start, Critical Drinker. The fuss exclusively about the choice of having Lupita Nyong'o, a black woman, an African-American actress, playing Helen of Troy was, somehow wrong. That because mythology has her, even though she's not a real person, has her as a white woman, this shouldn't have been the case. What is your view?
Yeah, I mean, it's worth keeping in mind that something like The Odyssey is this epic fantasy story, but it's fantasy grounded in the real world. It's set within a very specific geographical location and time. And like any geographical location and time, it has demographics of people that are believable in that time and people who are not. And the best way to contextualize this kind of decision is, say you had a movie set in pre-colonial Africa and one of the tribal leaders was a random white guy, and none of the other characters thought that that was even remotely strange. No one reacted to it and there was no explanation for it. That's kind of the similar situation to what you have with The Odyssey. It doesn't really make sense.
This is okay. So we're going to let Birdman give his opinion in a minute, but I've heard this so much and I need to speak on it. First of all, those are just two bigots. All right. Critical Drinker and Nerd Erotic are just racists. The fact that Nerd Erotic had a Misfits shirt on is antithetical to punk in general. That's a whole different conversation. This conversation that Elon started when he saw Lupita Nyong'o was cast of Helen of Troy. The right wing idolizes Christopher Nolan because he's a libertarian. Watch the Batman movies that he made. Each of those movies makes the argument that a billionaire is better at saving the city, people, is a better caretaker than any government institutions, right? Now, that's not Batman. That's Christopher Nolan's Batman. Batman, in the comic books, is a class trader, uses all of his money to either build orphanages, foundations, resources that bolster the government institutions, try to uncorrupt them, but it's a never-ending battle because corruption and greed are ever present in our world. the argument that Helen of Troy should be white because the Odyssey was written by an ancient Greek about ancient Greece, then belies the question, why isn't the rest of the cast, why aren't they all Greek? Why is it Matt Damon and Tom Holland and Anne Hathaway? Why not everyone must be olive skin with black hair? And I know this because I grew up with some Greeks, okay? There's a blonde every now and then. But even then, it's olive skin. Why aren't they all speaking Greek? Why aren't they all speaking ancient Greek? Because that's a different dialect than modern Greek. Because it's a film. However, I don't want to go so far as to say it doesn't matter at all. It's fantasy. People will make that argument. Matter of fact, I'll let Birdman make that argument.
Such a disingenuous, nonsensical argument. What he just said was that basically that black people wouldn't exist in this particular time period. First of all, this is fantasy. I know he acknowledged that, but again, this is fantasy. That literally means anything goes.
Now, no shade to Birdman. I've heard this argument tons of times. It's anything goes because it's fantasy. Sure, anything goes in that there could be goblins and trolls. Anything goes in that there could be lightsabers and starships. Anything goes in that there could be superheroes. I understand. Those are the conceits. However, it does matter to a character, right? It does matter that Clark Kent is a white man because Clark Kent, sent from Krypton, lands in Kansas, rural Kansas, and is adopted by two passersby who always wanted a kid and never happened for them. And here's a little baby in a rocket ship that needs help. And we can pass him off as our own, and he will grow up and move to Metropolis and become Superman, right? If that child is black, it changes the experience. It changes the character. He grows up in a rural, right, Kansas, and experiences racism. For sure, Clark Kent in 1938 would experience racism. Ma and Pa Kent, either you change their race, so they're black, and they're also living in rural Kansas. And that's, again, a story you can tell, but a completely different character. Natch, there is a black Superman. His name is Val Zod from a different universe. There's parallel universes in DC and Marvel. There's infinite universes. That's why there's infinite universes, because a writer has that idea. Hey, what about a black Superman? And they tell that story, but it's a different character, and it's okay, and it works. Same thing with Spider-Man. Miles Morales, he's a different character than Peter Parker, and it matters. It matters because, like, again, black Nick Fury. There's an example for you. Nick Fury is played by Sam Jackson in the Marvel movies, right? That's based on the Ultimate Comics, Ultimate Marvel's version of Nick Fury. Ultimate is a different universe than the mainline Marvel universe. But they never even explain this, but I'm about to point out the reason why you might want to think about why you're changing someone's race or sex and if it serves the story. Because Nick Fury, white guy in the comics, here, I'll pull up a picture of Nick Fury. There's Nick Fury. This is old school Nick Fury, all right? And the reason is because he's the head of the CIA. Not the CIA. It's called SHIELD, right? But it is a clandestine international government agency. And that would typically be run by an old white guy. They're not going to trust that to a black guy because we live in a white supremacist society. It matters. It matters that Bruce Wayne is white, that he's a class traitor, a race traitor, because it shows what he's giving up to put his life on the line every day as Batman. He is giving up generational wealth. The Waynes helped build Gotham City. There just isn't, and I mean, like, help build in that they were part of the ship that came over from the old country to Gotham and founded Gotham, right? That's a level of wealth no Black American family has, because Black American families, their origins in this country are as slaves. So a Black Batman would be a different character. There is a Black Batman. His name is Batwing, and he was cool. There are different variants to all these characters. So, all that to say, Helen of Troy, first of all, if I remember my Odyssey, which was a long time ago that we read that in school, Helen of Troy is not actually from Troy. She's like an international beauty whose beauty is renowned in all the known world, which is like the Mediterranean, which includes Africa, by the way. And she's stolen by the king of Troy, I believe. That's why there's the war. Like, hey, you weren't supposed to grab this lady. She's supposed to be married off to like the best king. I don't remember. But the point is, she's not from Greece, so she can be any race. Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic are part of an ecosystem on YouTube and Twitch. But this is why I wanted to talk about this. You love the South Park picture on the wall? Thank you very much, Sean. I appreciate that. South Park's one of my favorite shows ever. My absolute favorite. The reason I wanted to talk about this clip is because Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker are part of a problem on YouTube. All right?
Set up auto ship delivery.
Sorry. They funnel people to the right wing with this outrage. Before the movie comes out, they are saying it's gonna bomb because it's woke, right? Woke, go broke. Elon Musk says it. They all say it. And they follow this line until the movie comes out. And judging by how much money it makes, they either say, well, we knew it. It bombed. Supergirl came out, female-led movie. Nobody wants to see a girl punching men. Bombed. Of course it did. The Odyssey comes out and makes a bunch of money. They're going to say, well, woke Hollywood, brainwashing people to go see this movie. It's Christopher Nolan. They're going to see Christopher Nolan, even though he made a mistake in casting. They're saying, I mean, Elon said Nolan's casting this way so he can win an Oscar, as if he hasn't had Oscars already. Or noms, at least. I think, didn't Oppenheimer win a bunch of, like, what? Their arguments don't make sense because they're not supposed to. They come out of racism and bigotry. So when you work backwards from that to try and logic your way into making this argument, you look silly. You look silly because it's not a real argument. It's not a real argument. So I just wanted to point that out. Like, anyone making the argument of why are you race swapping characters, and it's coming from a place of I just don't want to see that because I don't like black people. I don't want to see a black woman portrayed as one of the most beautiful women in the world that launched 1,000 ships. I think that should be Sydney Sweeney or Carmen Electra or whoever it is. They're just racists. But if you're saying, hey, I think Batman needs to be white because he comes from generational wealth and it's important to his character that he is actively fighting against the same class and race that he comes from, like, that is the big secret that Bruce Wayne has. Not that he runs around in a batsuit, that he's fighting against the structures of white supremacy and capitalism. Anyways, speaking of white supremacy and capitalism, Check out this space, Working Class Collective on YouTube. That is how Gina and I know each other. That is why I'm the co-host of On Flow Fridays, filling in for her when she is feeling under the weather. I'm Alex of Devil's Advocate Productions. I talk movies, music, TV, video games. We got video game trailer reactions from the Game Awards and Summer Games Fest. We got song reactions. Brian Andrews, country artist, putting out an album. We got all, and not just hip hop, Olivia Rodrigo, punk band, Daisy Grenade, whatever I feel like listening to. Did a trailer reaction to Ben Shapiro's new movie with Jonathan Majors called Run, Hide, Fight, Infidels, about what if, remember those college protests against Israel's genocide a couple years ago? What if a terrorist organization infiltrated them and took over the college campus? And there was a Die Hard like scenario where they needed to fight terrorists. That's what that movie's about. Oh, yes. Critical Drinker is indeed a fixture of incel YouTube. Critical Drinker, Nerdrotic, Geeks and Gamers, Asmongold. I've heard, I know you people have heard a lot about that guy recently. It is infuriating to me. And it is part of the reason I made my channel the way it is. I want to talk about all these topics. And I want to, in those videos, because you'll look at this and this will look like regular reaction stuff, right? It doesn't look too different from other channels. But in the videos itself, I will get my points across. I will get this propaganda out to the masses. I will try and turn them towards the left lane rather than the right lane. That is my goal. That is my goal. And to have fun and talk about the stuff I like South Park. Check out my entire playlist. I have lots of playlists, but my whole playlist of South Park from last season. But let's get into it, folks. Let's get into it. There was a speech last night from the man himself. And let's watch a little bit of that speech.
After the worst inflation in 48 years.
Sorry to offend your eyes and ears with his face and voice.
Economic and social disaster. After the worst inflation in 48 years, the wide open borders with millions and millions of people pouring in from all over the world, including criminals of all types, and 11,888 murderers, many of whom killed more than one person. We had transgender for everybody, men and women's sports, crime ravaging our cities, and the whole world was laughing at us as a nation, but not anymore. 2 years ago, our country was dead. Now we are the hottest country.
That's enough. First of all, YouTube ads, apologies. But that's enough. That's enough. The whole point of this speech was to get to the part where he says, I won the 2020 election. I'm sorry. I won the 2020 election. It was rigged, totally rigged by GINA. GINA rigged it. And that is why we need to pass the SAVE Act. Pass the SAVE Act so we can do this. Now, first of all, here is John Solomon, who is the architect of Trump's stolen election speech, fleeing after he admits no votes were changed. This is when he was interviewed the other night.
We're not telling the president.
Did you acknowledge that there were no votes changed in 2020?
All I can acknowledge is what the intelligence shows, right? I only know the intelligence community has zero evidence that someone has flipped that a foreign power flipped a vote in 2020, 22, or 24.
And you have you're able to acknowledge
We're not through all the documents.
You're able to acknowledge that Venezuela has not tampered with voting machines in the United States.
No, the intelligence is very clear. They did it on their own machines. Why is it important that they did it on their machines? Their machine protocols are the same as America. Why? Because for a long time they did exactly.
And so the 2020 election was in fact the results as we the American public.
I'm still researching, so let me. This is the first.
But there's no intelligence.
Not yet.
He's got to go.
There is no intelligence that the election would have said that Donald Trump was president.
Said that's enough. We're not telling the president.
Did you acknowledge that
So,
there were no?
Again, he acknowledges. He's saying, like, he's trying to hedge and go, well, I still got to do research. But he says, but you said there's no intelligence. No, there is no intelligence in this whole scenario, right? But this is alarming. He's walking back like a cartoon character. He is. But this is alarming. Like, as silly as they are, it's not a laughing matter. And it ties directly into the violence that we've been seeing with ICE. This is an article from The Guardian saying Democrats and advocates sound the alarm, and Trump rehashing false claims about 2020 election in his primetime address. And I would point out that this is directly tied into speeches that were given by Marco Rubio and Stephen Miller yesterday about violence and radical left terrorism.
In one 18-month period between 1971 and 1972, the FBI counted some 2,500 bombings on American soil, a rate of nearly 5 a day. The overwhelming share of that violence came from left-wing extremists. Between 1970 and 1980, 93% of terrorist attacks in the West came from the far extremist left. These are numbers that would shock most Americans today because we've been taught to believe that this kind of political violence, it simply doesn't exist or it's being exaggerated. But it does exist, and we're actually underestimating it.
So he picked the cherriest of picked statistics when, yes, the Weather Underground was bombing banks and like robbing shit, to redistribute wealth. And to say, oh, left-wing terrorism is the most important thing for us to worry about. That's why the Pentagon is asking for another $350 billion to combat, as Mike Johnson put it the other day, communism on our shores. Now, what this really means, in conjunction with Trump's speech, is they are going to oppress the hell out of everyone this election. They do not want elections taking place. There's talk of even not seating the people who won in January. Mike Johnson, just don't confirm them. Don't confirm Daria Liza or Brad Lander or Kiros in Colorado or Abdul if he wins for Senate. Hey, Mitch McConnell, if you're still alive, don't confirm him. They know that they're unpopular. They know their policies are unpopular. Themselves as personalities are unpopular. And they want, like the rapists they are, want to push through their agendas. Regardless. And they can't do that if people vote them out. So how about we don't vote? How about we don't have midterms? That's the point. That's what they want. And it is scary. It is scary. Because you got, again, here's Stephen Miller. I'm sorry. Again, apologies for showing you his visage and the noises coming out of his mouth
President Trump issued a directive in our parlance. It's called a National Security Presidential Memorandum, or NSPM, NSPM 7 to be exact, that directs for the first time in American history all of our law enforcement and intelligence agencies to work together to disrupt, identify, defund, debank, arrest, and prosecute these political terrorists that are operating in our country.
If you protest a data center, if you have a kafir, if you have pink hair or tattoos, they want to get rid of you. They want to lock you up in a gulag. Don't believe me? Here he is saying it.
It's not a coincidence that when you look at these violent Antifa demonstrations, you see any photograph of those who were assembled. To be blunt, not one of the people that is demonstrating looks like a normal person. Not one looks normal. They're all deformed in some way.
I mean, you want to get into who looks deformed and, normal, but let him continue.
In their appearance, in their dress, in their mannerism. Why is that? Why, if you look at two photographs and you see a normal American street, you see an Antifa protest, why do the people that are violently demonstrating, why is there not one normal looking person among them? Every one of them, through the course of their life and their decisions, has scarred their body and their appearance in many different ways, to the point in which their outer appearance becomes a manifestation of their inner hatred. Trust your instincts. To all people and across all civilizations, you know what normal is. You know what beautiful is. You know what good is. You know that families are right.
You know what good is. You know what beautiful is, right? This even ties back to the Helen of Troy thing from the Odyssey. That's why I started with that. He's telling you, you know what beautiful is. There's no debate. There's no, we can like plus size bodies. We can like black bodies. We can like different people of different races, different cultures. People have different beauty standards. He's saying, no, there is one. There is one beauty standard. There is one standard of what is normal and acceptable in society. He's frustrated. He has to explain this. I just recognized what it says on the back. The resurgence of political terrorism. Fitting for him to have that as his backdrop, because that's what they are, political terrorists. We're run by the mob, and the mob is terrorists, right? Tony Soprano, what does he do when he wants something? He threatens violence. The end. Give me what I want, or violence will happen to you. That is what he's saying here. Take it back a little bit.
Good is. You know that families are right. You know that children are precious and beautiful and must be protected. You know that the criminal and the junkie and the predator is a threat to normal, healthy living. This is so much deeper than issues about taxation and regulation, although they're incredibly important. It's about normal, healthy, ordered living. Right?
Watch when he says the junkie and the criminal.
Well, must be protected. You know that the criminal and the junkie and the predator.
He's like nodding. He's looking. He's trying to make he's trying to signal as hard as he can. I'm talking about the coloreds. I'm talking about people of different color than you. People who, again, or white people with tattoos and have pink hair, but the tattoos aren't swastikas, so you should be afraid. If you have Pete Hegseth tattoos, then it's okay. He is all but saying, we got to get rid of the darkies so that the whites can be safe. And anyone who sympathizes with them. I'm a half black man, half black, half white, half Christian, half Jewish. I'm on the list. I'm on the list. Right? Now, there's people, Candace Owens pops into my head, Dave Rubin, who are part of marginalized communities, black community, gay community, respectively, who think they're safe because they're advocating for this administration and want it to go down. How many times have we heard stories of of off-duty officers getting pulled over by ICE because that officer happens to be black or Hispanic? And they're like, dude, I'm a cop too. I like shooting brown people too. Why are you stopping me? Oh, I'm brown. Uh-oh, the leopard's eating my face. The leopard will always eat the face. It always will, every time. And these are the leopards. This thing. This thing is the leopard. I mean, here's Ken Klippenstein has been doing good reporting on NSPM 7. They want to debank you, defund you, deplatform you. Everything they've ever said and complained about. What's up, Pinker? How you doing? Everything they've ever complained about happening to them is projection. It's projection. They whined and complained about, we're getting shadow banned on Twitter. We're getting debanked. You know where the debanking thing came from? It was when a white supremacist organization tried to pass itself off as a nonprofit organization, and the Obama administration said, no, you can't have nonprofit status. And it wasn't even like Obama himself. It was the IRS. But they thought that was unfair. They want a white supremacist world. And they think that if they got to fix this country, we're going to take it home first. We're going to fix this country. We're going to make it white and right. If you're a white person and you don't agree with them, guess what? You're going to the gulag too. If you don't have pink hair, if you have blonde hair, blue eyes, you're Sydney Sweeney. And you're Sydney Sweeney and you say free Palestine. Guess what? You're going in the gulag too. Or, more worryingly, something like this. The other day, Pete Hegseth announced gender-affirming care for the military. In that, anyone over 30 will have like regular screenings for testosterone, and if needed, you will be given testosterone treatments, which is wild. Side note, I'm watching The Ultimatum on Netflix, dating show, trash TV, and there's a girl on there who's like, yeah, I'm from Texas and my dad owns a testosterone like company. And I'm like, where are they casting from? But Hegseth said we're going to do testosterone. Now, again, this is gender-affirming care. This is what they don't want trans people to have access to, but they want access to it. Hair plugs is gender-affirming care. Blue Chews or Viagra is gender-affirming care. Don't have enough testosterone to get a boner anymore? Well, here's a supplement. Well, that's gender-affirming care. You're at the point where you shouldn't be getting a boner anymore. You shouldn't be having kids. That's why you lose teeth as you get older. But they don't want that. They don't want that. And especially not Jesse Waters. Again, apologies for his visage and what he's about to say.
He says you lose your endurance, muscle mass. So, yeah, I want these guys on it. But you know what's going to happen? The guys that don't need it are going to take it to triple boost.
Right.
And then they're going to get out there. And women on base, you guys better be careful. Port calls, women in Asia, you better be careful. Because these guys are going to be wild animals, and you better watch out.
Okay.
Low two.
You should have held his hand.
Yeah, but I don't know if I would have.
Oh, Dana.
I mean, Waters just can't stop thinking about rape. Like, He's just constantly excited by the idea. Not even about him. Even in his fantasy, he's not part of it. He's just like, women on these military bases or at port cities, you better watch out. They're gonna be animals. Even more so than already the statistics of rape in the military on bases. He cannot exactly, Pinker. He cannot stop imagining what other men are up to. And that's his problem that he is clearly not dealing with. And they're making it everybody else's problem. That is this administration. Again, they are gangsters. What are gangsters but inept, kind of idiot dudes, but who are willing to inflict violence on people to get what they want? Tony Soprano and crew are not geniuses. The Godfather are not geniuses. The Corleone family. They are kind of dumb and just are willing to steal, stick a gun in someone's face and rob a truck. And that's it. That's it. That's the only difference. That's why they're in charge right now, because the Democrats are not. The Democrats are not willing to fight dirty. And I'm not even talking about like real legit violence, which they are threatening. I mean, here's Tom Homan literally talking about blood in the streets. This is after the Maine shooting, by the way.
Back to the Dems who want to continually attack ICE and tell people to evade them, tell people don't comply, tell people to resist, and tell people ICE isn't a real law enforcement agency. You and I talked about this 1.5 years ago, Laura. I said if the hateful rhetoric didn't stop, there will be bloodshed. And I'm saying it right now. There's still going to be more bloodshed unless they shut their mouth and let ICE enforce the laws that they enacted.
Unless Democrats shut their mouths, there will be more bloodshed. He's saying the Democrat lawmakers are the ones causing ICE to shoot people because they're telling people that ICE is a rogue agency, that it's out of control, and that people are encouraging people to resist. Lawmakers aren't even really doing that. They're giving guidance on, like, if you are resisting, hey, here's how to stay safe. Like, that's the most J.B. Pritzker's doing. And also, telling Trump, get out. AKA doing nothing. This is all about voting. This is all about voting. And if we still have to do elections, we're going to pressure people to vote the way we want, either by arresting everyone we think is not going to vote for us, intimidating you at the polls. There's going to be soldiers at the polls. Whether it's ICE, whether it's the National Guard, whether it's cops, they're going to try and intimidate you. Or deporting, arresting, killing enough Democratic lawmakers, or not seating them if they win, that the dynamics of the Congress and Senate maintain so that the Republicans are still in charge for the next 2 years and can continue their Project 2025, making this country a white country. A white supremacist, supremacist, shout out Ben Dixon for that lingo, white supremacy. That's what they want. That's what this is all about. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's terrifying, but there is hope. Get organized. Get organized. If you need an idea of how to get organized, this is the program for the DSA USA. I will put this in the chat, this link. This is the Workers Deserve More platform. This is a good resource to just check out what these policies, give yourself an idea of what do you look for in a candidate. These are their planks here. Thriving working class communities, working class foreign policy, working class democracy. Democracy for all, real democracy, democratic Congress, economic democracy, democracy at work. Labor unions, no Senate, no Supreme Court, voting rights for everyone, including felons, including immigrants, including people of different races and sexes. Right? The SAVE Act would make it so a lot of married women, including GINA, might not be able to vote because they changed their name. Their name doesn't match the name on their driver's license, or on their birth certificate, rather. Not their driver's license, their birth certificate. Also, a way to try and disenfranchise trans voters. Freedom to flourish. Healthcare for all, housing for all. Freedom to flourish is your needs are taken care of. You want to start painting? You can paint. You don't have to worry about getting to work on Monday and going to a job that sucks. Finish Reconstruction, racial justice, and mass incarceration and police immunity, feminism for all, Green New Deal. Working class foreign policy, end the U.S. war machine, free Palestine, end blockades, embargoes, and sanctions, abolish ICE. This is the antidote for the fascist world we live in right now. This is the beginning steps of the antidote. Me too. I'm divorced, but never changed my name back, so fuck me, I guess. Exactly. And they want to pass this as soon as possible. Trump is like, I don't want to do nothing else until this happens. That's what the speech was about last night. That's why it's imperative you talk to your neighbors. Like, you don't have to join DSA. I just use that as an example of what to talk to your neighbors about. Because you need to talk to your neighbors. You need to know your neighbors' names. You need to shake their hand and say, hey, I live right across the street. If you ever need anything, give me a knock or call me on the phone. Here's my number. Because ICE might show up and they might disappear, or you might disappear, and you want somebody looking for you. You need to talk to your communities. I did one canvassing. I was involved with one campaign for a city council. Shout out Lindsey Boylan for New York City City Council. She did not win. But when she stopped her campaign, she was still on the ballot for the primary. And I was like, oh, great. And I voted for her anyway. And the results, she got even closer. She still lost, but still closed the gap without campaigning for 2-3 months. That's how much people want change. That's how much people are sick of the status quo. That's how much people look at the Republicans fucking everything up. They look at the Democrats literally not doing shit, as exemplified by Chuck Schumer right here, farting on the Senate floor.
The NDAA. The American people need to know, of course, how and why this chaos is spreading through their streets, and we need a complete investigation that's independent. Now, on Iran and the NDAA, when all the Trump administration can say about his disastrous...
You heard it? That's what our leadership is doing. That's what Democratic leadership is doing. Now, I don't identify as a Democrat. I don't even identify as a leftist. I call myself of the left, on the left side. I agree with all the policies here on the DSA website. Again, program.dsausa.org. I came up with some of these ideas on my own, having never heard of DSA years ago. We should have housing is a human right. Healthcare is a human right. Like, how is this? Reconstruction was interrupted and never finished. How was that happen? If you read this entire thing, this sounds like what a society should be. This sounds like what we were told as children America was. I watched on Tuesday night, there was a DSA call. I'm not a member of DSA, but this was an open call to anyone interested. And they explained this platform and they explained their goals. And again, the entire time I'm watching, I see the chat moving. Everyone's going, this is just what we were told America was. This is just like a functioning basic society. Why is this so hard? And it's because the interests of capital don't want it that way. They want it the way it is right now, honestly. The way it's been for the last 40, 50, 100 years. Group of them at the top, hoarding money, the dragons, if you will, to bring it back to fantasy land. The dragons hoarding money, sitting on their piles of gold, boxing everyone else out, making them slaves, making them dead fodder, you know. Shout out Brian Andrews once again from this great album, Independence Day. My Brian Andrews playlist right here. But it was this album with all his protest music on it. There's a song where he says they're serving up our daughters. They're sending our sons to war. They're serving up our daughters. To the Epstein class. Like, that is who you are to them. You are fodder. You are cattle to Elon Musk, to Peter Thiel, to Mark Zuckerberg. You are nothing but extras in their life, in their main character of a story. You are inconvenient to them when you protest Tesla or a data center or burn down a warehouse or one of their CEOs is shot on the street in New York. It's inconvenient. Not impossible to overcome for them, for sure, but inconvenient. And the more inconveniences, the more difficult it gets for them. To the point where maybe it's not an inconvenience, it's an obstacle. And maybe even more than that, it's an opposing force. And maybe that opposing force actually wins. That's that segment. Once again, folks, if you are confused and just tuning in, I'm Alex. I'm the Devil's Advocate. I know GINA through this space, Working Class Independent Media Collective in solidarity. We are all of the left. We have different perspectives with the same kind of goals. There are about 20 hosts, lots of shows. We're live Monday through Thursdays. I host Devil's Advocate Productions on YouTube and Twitch. I talk about movies, TV, video games, and music. And I put my politics in these videos. You may come across one of these videos, or your kids, whatever. Maybe you'll come across a trailer reaction for the new Spyro game, or an album reaction for Vince Staples' Crybaby, which I have not been able to stop listening to since I listened to it. It is amazing. And you're going to hear me lean in to the politics of this art, because art is inherently political. I am indeed a rebel rouser, if you will. Speaking of rebels, definitely check out my Andor reviews. Season 2, I talk about season 1, but those are some of my most proudest videos that I made. But yes, let us move on to the next story. Let me go off here. So, like I mentioned in the very beginning, Jay-Z, billionaire Jay-Z, had some shows at Yankee Stadium this past weekend to celebrate the 30th anniversary of Reasonable Doubt and the 25th anniversary of The Blueprint, which, again, I just made a reaction to on my channel. I never listened to The Blueprint before, and now I have. And then I also listened to Nas's Stillmatic, because on The Blueprint, Jay-Z disses Nas, and then a couple months later, Nas dissed Jay-Z. Famously infamously, brutally on Ether. I also did not know, fun fact, or not fun fact, the blueprint came out on September 11th, 2001. I did not know that until I went and listened to it the other day. I saw the release date. I was shocked that 2 tragedies happened to New York City that day. But this is the scene outside Yankee Stadium on night 3 of his 3-night concert. So there was a delay, to say the least. He was supposed to go on at 8 o'clock. He went on after midnight. Okay? And the reason he gave was, oh, someone was trying to rush the stage and we need to be safe and make sure everyone's safe. And of course, the crowd's just like, yay, whatever, who cares? But they made them wait 4 hours. 4 hours. It looked close to rioting. It looked like the America 250 Fest in Washington, D.C. a few weeks ago, where they said, I don't know, it's going to rain. Maybe Trump's not going to do his speech. Maybe y'all should shelter in place. And they had the shelter in the African American History Museum, which was the most ironic thing for a bunch of white supremacists to have to cower and shelter in the history of Black America. But on the first night, Jay-Z did a little freestyle. And I want to give you a little taste of what I do on my channel right here and break down this freestyle for you, because it's important and it's relevant to capitalism.
I'm a target. You aim, don't miss that target. No exclusive, they only doing what Apple and Walmart did. You shopping at Amazon or you boycott? You posting on Instagram? That's meta, boy. Stop it.
So Jay-Z's been criticized recently. Again, 30th anniversary of Reasonable Doubt, 25th anniversary of The Blueprint. He's reissuing these albums, putting them in stores with like extra features or some bullshit on it, right? Like Taylor Swift does, another billionaire. Putting them in stores, selling an old album to you again as a collector's item. Very capitalist of him. And made a deal with Target. Now, Target has been the target of boycotts of the Black community for axing its DEI programs even before Trump like mandated that companies need to do this. So Jay-Z saying, hey, don't boycott Target because you're posting on Instagram and Meta owns that. And you should, why are you buying from Amazon? Because Amazon's owned by a billionaire too. It's selective outrage, he's saying. Let's bring it back.
They only doing what Apple and Walmart did.
No, let's bring it back to the beginning.
I'm a target. You aim, don't miss that target. No exclusive, they only doing what Apple and Walmart did. You shopping at Amazon or you boycott? You posting on Instagram? That's meta, boy. Stop it. Y'all know Google owns YouTube. You picking and choosing the politicking as usual. They digging deep for narratives. It's embarrassing. They run out of characters, had to bring back up Cap again. Buddy took a check. I ain't even mad at him.
So, first of all, again, right, they selectively politicking, right? He says, and then he says they had to bring back Cap again. He took a check. So he's talking about Colin Kaepernick settling his lawsuit with the NFL for not hiring him, colluding with all the teams saying, don't hire this guy. He did a kneel protest, which years ago Jay-Z said, I think we're done with kneeling. Now he brings up Kaepernick again, saying, hey, he took a check. Maybe it was all about money, actually. I'm not mad at him. This is a capitalist defending capitalists. This is Sambo tap dancing for the rich white man who's keeping him rich, who's allowing him to be a billionaire. That's what he's doing. But let's continue.
Cap again. Buddy took a check. I ain't even mad at him. But along with that check, got a sign of non-disparagement. I'm the one they can't control. Y'all better be glad it's him.
He's saying Kaepernick had to sign an NDA. Kaepernick's lawyers and people familiar with the case said, no, he didn't. He continues to talk about the NFL. People who made the documentary about him say, no, he did not sign an NDA. Jay-Z saying, I'm the one they can't control. Better be glad it's him. What do you mean? They don't need to control you. You're controlling yourself. You don't speak out against them. You speak in favor of them. Why boycott Target? You're using an iPhone. You're a hypocrite. Don't come after me. Y'all are coming after billionaires because I made $1 billion. You weren't coming after billionaires before. Before, it was the American dream. No, we're criticizing Bezos and Bill Gates and Steve Jobs and Taylor Swift and you and Elon Musk and Peter Thiel. Yes. Jared Kushner. Yes. You're all in the same boat. Literally, you're all at the same table. Him with Jared Kushner and Ivanka. Let's see. Let's pull that up. There they are. Do they choose where they sit? No, but they choose if they go to this event. Jay-Z and Beyonce criticized after dining with Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner. You could leave. Oh, we're going to have to sit next to them? We out. But they don't because they wanted their seat at the table. That's Jay-Z's whole thing. I represent black people and I got a seat at the billionaires table. So I'm representing your interests at their table. I encourage y'all to watch FD Signifier's video about Tyler Perry, in which he burns a table. It's a 3-hour video. It's metaphorical. Check it out. The essential idea is build your own table. Build your own table. But let's continue with the freestyle. This is so awesome, isn't it?
Y'all better be glad it's him. Yeah. I'm the one they can't control. You better be glad it's him. $500 million back in the community. That's just good math for him. I don't listen to Twitter activists. They type and I laugh at them. There's really no comparison. Y'all check my stats again. I'm bringing folks home to their family. Laws get passed to him. You can like it or not. He don't do no ass kissing.
All you do is kiss ass. Your lips are big enough for it. As Nas said on Ether. He called them donkey lips, I think. All you do is kiss ass. Of Roger Goodell and Jared Kushner. What are you doing? Picking the piece of Gaza that you and Beyonce are going to build a hotel on?
Ex-drug dealer, you might not like the packaging, but my presence is the president. My gift is rapping. Oh, shit.
So that's it. So he just kind of ends it with like a little present scheme there. But again, check my stats. I'm bringing folks back from jail, right? You got a couple people out of jail, namely your labels, artists, Meek Mill, Lil Wayne. You help Lil Wayne stay out of debt. Okay, you helped your friends with the money you made. Kaepernick is actually trying to help the community. Now, Kaepernick's also getting into like this AI crypto shit, which get the fuck out of here. So is Nas. Get the fuck out of here with that. Okay? One of my favorites is Eminem. couple years ago, him and Snoop Dogg with the NFTs. Get the fuck out of here with that. That ain't helping nobody. I remember Spike Lee advertising NFTs and crypto on like a Super Bowl ad with Larry David. Bro, why is Nas slacking? The Culture Needs Ether Part 2. Nas was on stage with him. They buried that beef. Matter of fact, that's the picture I used for my clip out of Ether on my channel. Of them on stage together. Because I thought it'd be funny. But if you want a little more explanation of the ethos of that, I have some for you. This is longtime Jay-Z collaborator Memphis Bleak.
Yale was up here.
Hang on. So Memphis Bleak, I only know because I've been listening to Jay-Z albums on my channel. And this was an interview he did on Power 105. And he starts out by saying, a lie is more entertaining than the truth. And homie right here with the red hat is kind of bringing up, like, you know, the constant criticism of, hey, Jay-Z's a billionaire. There's no ethical way to be a billionaire. And watch how angry Memphis gets. Now, Memphis, again, has no career without Jay-Z. Definitely not now. Maybe 20 years ago, you had like your own albums or whatever. And right now, since then, you are the guy who features on these songs that Jay-Z made. And now that he's like back out making an album, I think Jay-Z is going to make a new album soon. He's like, hey, it's my time to shine again 20 years later. So believe when I tell you, I'm warning you, the dick writing in this clip is of epic proportions.
The lie is more entertaining than the truth, bro. Okay. No matter what you say, man. Like, the truth came out about them fouls and all that. They still run with it. Yo, homie in this and homie in that. It's like, what about the target? The lawyer shot down. Don't talk to me about that. I don't give a fuck about that activism shit.
I don't give a fuck about that activism shit. Now, the reason I'm playing this clip is because Memphis is not as slick with it as Jay-Z is. Jay-Z did a GQ interview a couple months ago. I talked about that over on this space, where he was saying, like, again, people only criticize billionaires when I became a billionaire. Why is that? It was the American dream. Nobody criticized Jeff Bezos or Steve Jobs or Bill Gates. But as soon as a black man gets it, then it's a problem. It's like, no. They've all been criticized. You just didn't hear it because you weren't paying attention. Because you didn't care. You didn't care. You want to be them. You want to be them. And the criticism you're getting is specific. It is from the black community saying, we made you and you're not helping us. You are siphoning our money. You are selling Reasonable Doubt and The Blueprint again in Target, specifically in Target, where the black community has chosen to boycott. You are helping out the CEOs and the board members of Target by hyping up, hey, go to Target and get my albums that you got 30 years ago. Or, hey, kids, are you just becoming a rap fan? Are your parents not talking to you about how great Jay-Z was? Go to Target as a family and get these new versions of Reasonable Doubt and The Blueprint. He is helping get Target out of that spot, just like he helped the NFL get out of that spot when he said, I think we're done with kneeling.
My nigga, like, because these niggas is still in there,
right,
my nigga.
Right.
So don't worry about us.
Look, the Target deal is important because I hit up both of these dudes when that episode came. I said, oh, y'all gotta
got
look
selective
but look,
rage.
But look, No, not at all.
Everybody album is available
Right.
vinyl
So
in
why
Target.
wouldn't Hov say, hey, I don't have
He
control
don't
of that.
have to. He don't owe
Yeah,
y'all
don't-
niggas no explanation, my nigga.
That's where we split ways.
Well,
That's
gonna
you
forever
owe-
be
you
that,
owe your
my nigga.
community-
Y'all sounded like the old lady in the window. Why y'all outside 3 a.m. loud? We gotta tell her we selling drugs, bitch. That's why.
They see it as hall monitor behavior. Like you're acting like the old lady yelling out the window while y'all making noise. And he's like, I don't want to tell you that we out here selling drugs. Like, shut the fuck up and let us make our money. But that metaphor is perfect. Because one, Jay-Z was a drug dealer, sold crack to his community. Right? That's a perfect metaphor. Because you out there selling crack, not helping the community you're a part of, not selling, let's say, paintings, selling a bunch of paintings or that you guys made together, or you guys, let's say, cooked a bunch of food and are helping people who are less fortunate and can't afford food feed their families, feed themselves. And maybe you're selling it, make a little money, fine. You're selling it for cheaper than it would be to go to the store and get it. But you use the example of selling drugs, which actively harms the community, especially crack. Like, ain't nothing noble about being a crack dealer at all. Weed, I'd even argue like coke, mushrooms, acid. Those should be legal. Heroin to an extent. Maybe crack, but like regulated, heavily regulated, at least those two. The other ones, regulated, like alcohol is regulated. And crime will go down. Addiction rates will go down. Just like when they ended prohibition of alcohol and crime went down, organized crime especially. That is the argument he's making, is that, I mean, let me just let him keep talking because it's a pretty amazing clip.
Drugs, bitch. That's why.
No, I don't.
The fuck?
I don't get the
Come on,
I don't get the
man.
correlation there.
She want to know why we outside late doing what we do. You want to know why he did what he did. We owe none of y'all no explanation. We selling drugs,
No.
bitch.
The difference is you didn't, unless you paying that old lady rent or whatever the case may be.
He not paying your rent.
Right.
Right. So he's even using that example and being like, okay, fine, weird metaphor, but okay. We're outside on the corner selling drugs. Old ladies yelling, what y'all doing out there? And we're selling drugs, making money. Red Hat, let me find out his name. Mouse Jones. So Jones is going like, okay, you're selling drugs, which actively harms people, but whatever. Let's pretend it doesn't. You're just selling a product and making money on the corner. If you're paying that old lady's rent, helping the community, then okay, makes sense. But you're not. Now he's about to make the argument of we actually made Jay-Z by buying the albums, by buying the clothes, the Rockaware when he came out with that. Right? We supported him because we want to support a black artist. We want to support a black business. But what did he do? He kept selling shit. He never put the money back into the community. Like Tyler Perry. Go check out that FD video after this. Tyler Perry built a whole ass studio in Atlanta. Multiple sound stages, multiple sets. You know what's shot there? Tyler Perry movies. That's it. You think you have a whole studio, multiple lots. You can have multiple productions happening at the same time. You should. But those multiple productions are all Tyler Perry things. If you were really about the community, you would let other filmmakers use that studio. Use the different lots. Charge them. Hey, you got to pay this amount of money out of your budget of a film to use my lot. Okay, yeah, of course. You have to, like, of course. But he's not even allowing that because it's not about building a table for everyone to come sit at. It's about building a table so he sits at that table by himself. That's what Tyler Perry did. That's what Jay-Z's doing. Well, actually, that's what Tyler Perry did because he really did actually build that shit himself. He put on a play, self-funded it, put on like a one-man show off Broadway. Not one man, but very small production. And that play was successful enough that he got a movie deal, made that the movie The Diary of a Mad Black Woman. Right? And then from there, franchised out and became the big hitter he is. Jay-Z did not. Jay-Z got a seat at the table and is now making sure nobody else gets a seat at that table and that table continues to exist. The table being the structure of capitalism in which a South African racist bigot can illegally immigrate to the United States and make $1 trillion. Elon Musk. I got mine. Fuck everyone else. The libertarian ethos, the Republican ethos, the capitalist ethos. Let's let them continue.
The community at large, the community at large support Hov. The community at large support Hov. You're not paying his rent. Again, the community at large supported.
This is annoying. You're not paying his rent. You're not paying his rent. And he's trying to explain, yes, we are, motherfucker. If nobody bought Reasonable Doubt, if nobody bought Volume 1, 2, 3, Blueprint, hell, if nobody bought Reasonable Doubt, you don't get a Volume 1, which is weird the way his albums are named. There's Reasonable Doubt, then there's Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, which is the 4th album, and then Blueprint. It is very confusing as someone who is just going through his albums. But yes, that is what he's saying. And Memphis is saying, no, no, no. Jay is just so amazing. He was going to make that amount of money regardless if you bought his album that he's now famous for. It doesn't make sense. Yes, Perry built himself with the Chitlin circuit before building his media empire. He literally did like self-make himself. It is impressive. He then, uses his power for evil, but he did get there on his own. Whereas Jay-Z had a lot of help, had some mentors. So people take him under his wing, prop him up, say, hey, check out this new rapper.
Hov gets to where he's at because the community supports him. First of all,
the community know about money right now because of Hov. Right? Y'all niggas would still be running around picking boogers, wiping them on the camera screen if it wasn't for Hov and B.I.G. Let's clear it up, man. New York was not talking no money until Big and Hov came out.
From a rap perspective.
Yes. So you want to talk about money? He taught you got them chains on. Platinum because of Hov, nigga.
That doesn't help the community.
It doesn't help the community.
No, what we say? Hold on.
How that doesn't help the community?
That doesn't help the community.
How to get money.
Again, the way Memphis is infantilizing not only himself, but the entire Black community, saying he taught Black people how to get money. By what? Selling drugs, making rap music? He didn't invent either of those things. He didn't say, hey, by the way, I just got back. Hey, Black community, I just got back from a summer camp where I learned that you could rap and make money. It's not like Rakim, NWA, Snoop Dogg, the fucking Sugar Hill Gang existed before. Jay-Z's mentor, Jazz O, which is also just a hilarious. Did you literally not creative enough to think of like a name for yourself that isn't a switch up of your mentor's name? I just learned that too. Black people are so inept that Jay-Z had to come. You'd still be picking your noses and wiping them on cameras if Jay didn't say, hey, sell crack. Hey, make rap music. Buy this Rockaware. Look at how frustrated he is.
No, what we say? Hold on. How that doesn't help the community?
That doesn't help the
Y'all niggas how to
community.
get money.
No.
Y'all niggas wasn't worrying about getting money. Y'all niggas was wearing motherfucking Dickie suits. You was wearing Carhartt jeans. You was walking around with farmer jeans. Niggas ain't teach you how to get fly and go in them board meetings and get that back.
Important what he said. You were wearing these clothes that I don't consider to be cool or stylish or whatever, right? You were wearing Carhartt suits and this and that. You weren't fly, looking awesome, walking into board meetings, getting that bag. Jay-Z taught you how to do that. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Let's finish this out.
All right, now I feel that we're completely different planes here.
Yo, yes. Hope didn't teach a demographic in the community how to get money and boss up. Answer me that.
How to get fly?
No? How to get money and boss up? Yes or no?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
How to get money and boss up. What does that mean? What does that even mean? Boss up. Puffy thought he could do that. Puffy also had a line of clothes. Puffy also had an alcohol, Ciroc. But Puffy pushed it. Puffy thought he was white guy. He forgot that he was a black man. He was demanding certain amounts of money, and the other alcohol distributors around the world were like, who the fuck do you think you are? And clipped his fucking wings. Jay-Z knows how to play nice. That's what he's doing. And his guarantee to the other billionaires is, if the black community gets uppity, they start boycotting you, Target, they start boycotting you, NFL, I can convince, let me talk with them for a minute. Let me just chit chat. Let me give me an interview. I can convince them to come over here. I can convince them it's not that serious. It's not that serious to boycott Target. It's never going to work. Now, I might agree with like, hey, boycotting giant corporations might really not work. Because like, yeah, especially when these corporations are monopolies and you only have those options. However, you know, warehouses burn down. Things happen. And yeah, it's very embarrassing. You know, Jay-Z is doing this. I guarantee the reason he's doing this, not only is it the anniversary, but he's trying to like, hey, remember me? I'm Jay-Z. I'm here. You love this music. Reminding everybody how much they love him. Same with Beyonce. Hey, I'm married to Beyonce. Yes, she's been out there making Cowboy Carter and doing all those things, Lemonade, whatever, which is about me cheating on her and her not leaving despite her being the independent woman and the single lady. Remember how much you love me when these left-wing politicians are out here talking about sharpening guillotines coming for the billionaires. You don't want them to come after me, so you better not vote for that. You better listen to Jim Clyburn. You better listen to the Black Caucus, who do not give a fuck about black issues. Once again, if you were just joining me, I am Alex of Devil's Advocate Productions over on YouTube and Twitch. I make videos about movies, music, TV, and video games. GINA and I know each other from this space, the Working Class Independent Media Collective, which is live Mondays through Thursdays every single week. You should check it out. You should be subscribed. You'll never know what'll happen. We just launched a brand new show on Thursday, The Space Station, which is a roundtable panel. And coming soon, a Discord for everyone to chit-chat about this space and the show. But now I want to kind of hand it over to GINA because she put out this video about another rapper and how this ties directly into the Trump administration. I made a lot of connections myself with Jay-Z, but this directly connects. And I sent GINA this video the other day. I don't know if she made this because I sent it to her. I'd like to think so, but I think GINA's on top of things herself and found this story very interesting. So let's watch GINA's video. You might have already seen it if you're a fan of Raw News and Politics, but I want to watch it with y'all. And I think we need to have some representation of GINA on today's show.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So I have an interesting and fun update for you guys about this whole pardon for that rapper that I mentioned. I think it was yesterday or the day before, Boozy Badass.
Yeah. So if you've not heard of Boozy Badass before, I will give you a quick rundown. Boozy Badass. Boozy Badass, a couple years ago, he's a middling rapper, not too big. A couple years ago, got into some hot water when Lil Nas X was getting big, and he was not happy about that and said, hey, dude's out here trying to be straight. What's this guy getting all over our TVs for? And that kind of is revealing about Boozy. Also, he revealed that when his son was 13, he took him to like a whorehouse to make him a man, and very weird shit. Very weird shit. Now, it looks like Boozy got scammed out of $600,000 because he was trying to pay Trump to get a pardon. Let GINA break it down for you.
Boozy Badass. So I know it sounds like I'm making it up, but that's the real name. But anyway, hopefully you all saw that video. If not, here's the kind of a quick recap. So MAGA grifters, convicted felons, Jack Berkman and Jacob Wall, they signed a $600,000 contract, accepted $600,000 from a rapper named Boozy Badass. And they agreed that they would try to get a pardon for him from Trump. So they promised, by no later than I think it was January 31st of this year, we'll have a pardon for you. The contract contained a partial refund clause if they didn't secure this pardon by that date. Well, Mr. Badass never received the pardon. He filed a complaint now with arbitration, and he's demanding a refund of $300,000. But Berkman and Wall are claiming, oh no, he does not due a refund, even though it's very clear in the contract. But they're trying to say, oh no, we never said that we would give him a refund. Well, this whole thing, like I said, just took a very interesting turn. So check this out. This is an article that says Boozy Badass's lawsuit over failed Trump pardon gets stranger. Okay, so Mr. Badass just shouted out MAGA influencers online saying that Berkman and Wall were using their names to prove, hey, we have these connections and these people are working on helping us get this pardon for you. According to the rapper, Mr. Badass, Berkman and Wall told his attorney that Laura Loomer, Mike Cernovich, Jack Posobiec, Erica Kirk, and then a few Congress members, so Mike Johnson, Nancy Mace, Andy Biggs, they all had endorsed him for a pardon. So here's what he posted online. He named all of them, and then he said, can the names above please make a truthful statement about having contact or no contact with Berkman and Wall about my pardon process? $600K was taken from me with your names mentioned and emails by these people.
So Again, the last thing a criminal empire wants is they screw somebody over and that somebody blasts out into the public and says, hey, names of people in this organization, where was the illegal thing I was promised illegally? He bought a pardon, which you can do in this administration, so long as you donate money to the FIFA Foundation or buy Trump's crypto coin or give money to a super PAC. That's how you are purchasing these pardons. But apparently Jacob Wall and Mark Bergman was like, we'll just set up our own thing. And you guys know us as conservative fuckheads. So we have the ear of the president too, actually. Give us money. Well, just for $600,000.
Thanks. Don't know why it's in all caps, other than he's very desperate, obviously, to get his money back or something, or get this pardon. So, and then this guy claims that his attorney received a call from Berkman and Wall on New Year's Day. So New Year's Day just last year, or I guess this year, January 1st, saying Trump signed a pardon. You guys are you're gonna get the pardon. He's gonna announce it soon. So of course that never happened. And now the White House has been reached for comment, and they're like, yeah, we never received a pardon request. We don't know what this guy's talking about. So now all of these MAGA minions, all of these MAGA influencers and these Congress members are having to respond directly to this guy because they don't want to get pulled into this legal action. So Mike Cernovich posted on Twitter, he quote tweeted Boozy Badass and said, hey, little Boozy, I don't privately advocate for pardons nor accept money to do so. I do promote pardons publicly with full transparency. Sure. Nothing against you, but never recommended a pardon for you, nor even knew you wanted one. And then Laura Loomer also, she replied directly to Mr. Badass, and she made, it's either the most uninformed statement or the most false statement ever. So here's what she wrote. She said, I don't get involved in this type of work and have no idea what you're talking about. No offense, but I also have no idea who you are and have never heard of your case. Seems like Berkman is using people's names without permission to get business. That's also not how the pardon process works. You can't pay for a pardon. Not sure who told you that's how it works. Really, Laura?
I mean, is that not one of the funniest stories you've heard so far? Again, they are trying to pretend, I don't know who these people, I don't know who this guy is. But by the way, I don't know who you are, but pardons aren't sold. I don't know who you are, but I'm not involved, and you should probably not try to do this. This is illegal. This is like, again, like a drug deal. Speaking of drug dealers, it's like a drug deal happening. And then a cop walks by and they're like, sir, I don't know why you are asking me for marijuana. I do not know what that is even. Actually, I don't know who you are. Actually, go away. I am not involved. Please don't look at me.
That's not how it works. Oh my God. Okay. If you guys want to see a comprehensive list of the many pardons that Donald Trump has granted to people who either directly gave him money or agreed to do business with one of his companies in exchange, it seems like, check this out. So this was an article in Forbes. It says, here are the big time donors and business allies Trump pardoned. Wonder why. So this was from May. This was from just a few months ago. So the list could even be bigger by now. I don't know. In any case, Mr. Badass, I don't think he's going to get his money back. Okay, because Berkman and Wall owe a lot of money to a lot of different people because of all the garbage they've pulled over the years, because of the crimes they committed, because of the robocall thing that they got nabbed for, and the reason they're considered to be felons at this point. They're literally convicted felons. So he better get used to living without that $600,000. Don't know what to tell him. Should have done your research first. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.
Love it. Love it. Thank you, Gina, for breaking down the Boozy Badass situation. I do want a little bit more on this. Hang on. Poetic. Yeah. So this is another good explainer of what's going on here. It's just really funny. And I will put this on fast mode. Because it is a bit of an explanation. Hang on. I'm waiting for these ads to end. All right, so we'll bring it back. So yeah, there was an explanation of all the pardons. Okay, this is Poetic Flacco. He makes really good videos. We might watch another one actually. But yeah, this is kind of the breakdown of like how Boozy got involved and what the contracts look like and whatnot. I'll put this on let's put this on 1.25 speed.
Have had several clients that they helped get pardoned. So Boosie was almost confident that these were the guys who could get him a pardon. So they came to an agreement with Boosie where Boosie would pay them $600,000 for consultation. So the scope of services that Boosie paid for is a consultant is retained by client Boosie, Torrance Hatch, to provide exclusive strategic advisory and advocacy services for the sole purpose of seeking and securing a full presidential pardon for the charges to which client has pled guilty in a matter of United States versus Torrance. It's a gun case, like you guys know, okay? So the primary and exclusive objectives of this engagement is to obtain a presidential pardon. So they were supposed to get a pardon. Now, this was not a, hey, we're going to get a pardon. And if we don't get a pardon, hey, bro, we tried, but you're just paying us for advice. That's not it. No, right? They actually put, listen, conducting high-level strategic outreach and direct lobbying with key officials within that White House counsel's office to ensure the pardon petition receives thorough and favorable consideration. But he didn't just pay for advice, he paid for guarantees. So this was signed September 25th, a month after Boosie pled guilty. They had until January 31st. Now, this is a typo right here, by the way, because this was signed September 25th, 2025. This is supposed to say January 31st, 2026. But the agreement was, I guess this is like a rough draft that was later like edited and remanded. But the agreement was they will give Boosie a pardon by January 31st, 2026, whichever occurs first, okay? The pardon, close of business days, or January 31st, 2026. Now, if Boosie does not get the pardon, they would offer Boosie a refund. So it says right here, if a full presidential pardon for the matter is not secure for the client by close of business on January 31st, again, this will say 2026, consultation shall refund $300,000 to the client. The refund is conditioned upon the following procedure. So they would keep $300,000 for themselves because they did the work and they contacted the proper officials and they went through and did everything. But if they cannot secure the pardon, you would get $300,000 back, which I'll be real. If you have a criminalistic mind, this is like the perfect business to be in. I could charge people $50,000 to get them a presidential pardon, but I'll say, hey, you give me $50,000 for me to do the work. And if you don't get the pardon, you get only $25,000 back. I could take people money all day and just give them half the money back once the time frame is over and do no work at all. I don't know why anybody would agree to this. I'm in the wrong business, man. That's like a guaranteed jug, bro. Take money all day and refund half. That's about it. So, the refund will be under certain conditions. The client must submit a written request for the consultant for the refund. Consultant shall return the funds within 3 business days of receiving the client's written request. The funds shall be transferred via bank wire to a bank account designated in writing by the client. The payment schedule, the entire retainer fee of $600,000 is due in full. So he pays $600,000. Now, here's the thing. Boosie pled guilty in August. Boosie's sentencing was pushed from November to January. Boosie was ultimately sentenced, I think, January 13th. After Boosie was sentenced, he never received any jail time. He received a suspended sentence. So he got probation plus a suspended sentence that kept him out of jail. So January 13th, Boosie found out, okay, he didn't have to go to jail, but he still has $600,000 of his money out there for a pardon that had not come yet. So once the deadline of January 31st had passed, Boosie then put in the refund to get his $300,000 back. But these criminals told Boosie, but we can't give you back the money. We can't give you back the $300,000, even though that's what the contract says, even though that's what we agreed upon. And you know why they can't give Boosie back the money? Because according to them, due to overturned costs, we are effectively bankrupt, right? The company is bankrupt.
So they just declared bankruptcy so they didn't have to pay him back. Like, that's the shuck and jive. That's the criminality. That's the reason there's no such thing as ethical billionaires. Because these motherfuckers are trying to become billionaires. That's what they're trying to do. They're playing with laws. I declare bankruptcy. Can't give you the money. Sorry. Guaranteed scam. Guaranteed scam. Love it. Just fucking hilarious. It's hilarious when bad guys get scammed too. So that's the Boosie story. And like I said, we're going to go a little long today. I got a lot more stuff, a lot of clips pulled up. And, GINA's not here. You got a little GINA for, we're watching her video. But because she's not here, you get a little extra bit of me. And yeah, that's the Boosie story in development. Let's see how it turns out. Posobiec and Laura Loomer all said, "Oh, I don't know who you are, but you shouldn't try to buy a pardon. That's a no-no. That's illegal. That's wrong to do." By the way, if you don't know who I am, if you're just tuning in, hi, I'm Alex. I am the Devil's Advocate of Devil's Advocate Productions over on YouTube. I talk about movies, music, TV, video games, whatever I feel like talking about. And in those videos, I talk politics because art is inherently political. I have a lot of videos, man. If you scroll all the way down, I got Kanye on here. If you want to see me rant about Kanye and Jay-Z, watch my Kanye and Jay-Z album reactions. Go all the way down. Oh, man. I've been doing a lot this past year and change. My South Park reactions, Silk Song coming out, Bob Vylan, when Glastonbury censored him on the BBC, Kneecap, their new album, Ben Dixon, the very first interview I did when I joined this space, partially founded by him and Letterhack and Andrea Ravinsky. Got a lot of this spacers in the chat. What up, Etch? What up, Pinkerbell? What up, Latino Mafune? His name is pronounced Bussy. As Mike Figueredo of Leftist Mafia, which also airs on this space. The reruns airs on this space. That's what we do. That's how we know each other. That is why I am the co-host and the fill-in host for GINA on this channel. I encourage y'all to watch my Andor reviews and Daredevil, but like any of my movie reviews, video game reviews, rather than trailer reactions, that's where I put some effort into like editing the videos and making them really good. Look at this. I made a video to celebrate 50 subscribers. And I took a viewer request that I react to a freestyle. So you'll never know what happens when I hit 1,000, because now I have like 850 subscribers. I got 800 in like a year. My first album reaction, GNX. My first video, my real first video, Joker 2, Folie à Deux. And then I have some videos from before I really started consistently putting out stuff. The thing that has the most views still on my channel is this Armored Core 6 announcement trailer reaction from the Game Awards with 8.9 thousand. But I have a playthrough of Resident Evil 2 on here, I have a little bit of gameplay from me playing Sekiro when that came out 7 years ago. Oh my God. Harley Quinn and the Joker. Whenever I get a new Tekken game, I make the Harley Quinn and Joker characters. Fall Guys. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff on my channel, folks. But before I get into the next segment, matter of fact, you know what? Again, it's my show today. On Flow Friday, featuring Devil's Advocate Reactions. Devil's Advocate Productions. Let me give you a sample. Of one of my old videos, the Sekiro video, while I go to the bathroom. Check it out.
I caved in and bought it because I like these games, even though I haven't beaten Dark Souls 3 because of the Nameless King. I hear you can pause this game, which I really appreciate because I can't for the life of me understand how they make single-player games that don't let you pause. Oh. Ah. Oh my God. Uh-oh. He ain't gonna be in Rush Hour 3. Up makes him grab his butt. Did I wipe properly? Is my butt sticky? Oh shit. Uh-oh. Stealth. Oh shit. Okay, alright. Okay. Is he eavesdropping? I can't tell. Oh, there it is. Look at my hair. It looks like a vegetable. Are you subtly telling me I need a haircut? Okay, katana. Yeah, I know what a katana is. Okay, I'm not a pleb. I don't know how to use it. I should have read that. God damn it. I can't pause in midair. But it looks like I can pause the game. Pausing confirmed, folks. This is officially the greatest Souls game. Fuck all these books. Reading sucks. Play video games. What's up? Welcome to Dark Souls, bitch. Eat it. Wait, can I pause? I can pause. Oh my God, this is the ultimate test of if you can pause. Thank you, fucking God, for the ability to pause the goddamn game. It's single player. Why should I? This shouldn't even be a question. Oh, cool. Okay. Got him. He's dead, right? Yeah. Am I dead? Okay. He's dead.
I'm sorry, I was having too much fun rewatching this. I haven't watched this in years. Yes, pre-fancy mic. Well, actually, this is when I'm streaming from the PlayStation directly, so it'll sound like this anyway. Like anytime, like my Crimson Desert stuff that I recorded this year, all sounds like this. It just takes a long time to edit into a video. But yeah, folks, again, I got stuff on my channel. Thank you for indulging me while I hit the bathroom. But let us turn to a news story. J.D. Vance, our vice president, if you can call him that, is making the rounds, trying to differentiate himself from Donald Trump, distance himself more than Kamala Harris ever did for Joe Biden while still trying to feign loyalty. And it's a weird thing. And I was kind of wondering why, but I just found another clip to go in this segment that kind of explains the whole thing. So here's JD Vance on Joe Rogan, his favorite outlet to get propaganda out to the masses.
The thing I couldn't get over Biden is just bad staff work, man. The way that he ate ice cream. I mean, it's like, you know, we could bring some of this stuff up, but it's like they would get him eating ice cream in the most ridiculous, suggestive way imaginable. How
relatable, JD. You see a man eating ice cream and you think sucking dick. I mean, that's from fucking couches to fantasizing about Joe Biden sucking dick. You're trying to appear more normal? You're trying to get rid of those weird allegations? Those weird allegations should never have stopped. You are weird. You are weird. The end. Keep calling them weird, folks. They hated it. They hated it. One of the only good things the Kamala campaign did was let Tim Walz cook for a little bit and call these motherfuckers weird, because they are. Never beaten the allegations of being fucking weird.
But my sense is that the way that all foreign influence works in the United States is people try to manipulate American public opinion. And then from manipulating a public opinion, they try to get the outcomes that they want. I mean, this thing is a very good example of this. So, you know, like we know, I'm telling you, beyond a reasonable doubt, we know that the negotiation strategy that the president has asked us to pursue, and again, with limitations, like when the Iranians hit ships, the president has been willing to knock the hell out of the Iranians in response. This is not just a negotiation. It's negotiation, it's military, it's all these things. But I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that there have been people within the Israeli government who are trying to like actually shift us away from that policy because they want to continue the military campaign. And by the way, like there are people within their government that I love, I have good relationships with. I hope, and I don't think that they're part of this. I mean, you know, the ambassador of
that's his way of saying, when I'm president, folks in the Israeli government, you want to play nice with me? Play nice with me. I don't think you're our enemies, but you could be if you don't play nice with me.
Of Israel to the United States, I think is actually a really good guy. Obviously, he cares about Israel first. I care about America first. But there are some people within their system we know beyond a shadow of a doubt who are manipulating and trying to change American public opinion to keep the war going on indefinitely.
So that's his answer to when Joe says, is Israel trying to influence how long we go to war, if we go to war, who we go to war with? Now, Joe doesn't say, why the fuck are you trying to integrate our militaries together? Why the fuck are you letting Peter Thiel just put Palantir, integrate Palantir into our military systems, into the Pentagon? Why are these flock cameras appearing everywhere? Why are you trying to control the population? Why are you censoring anything that's critical of Israel? He doesn't say any of that. He doesn't say any of that because he's Joe Rogan. He's paid not to. And here's his response to the Epstein files, which is also shocking.
But if people want to say we mishandled the Epstein release, guilty. We did mishandle, especially the communications of it.
What do you think should have been done?
I think that we should have just dropped everything at the very beginning. And like, obviously it takes a little time to review the stuff, to find the stuff, to redact things where you have victims and so forth. But we should have just done it as quickly as possible.
But some of the stuff that was redacted, some of the names that were redacted weren't victims.
So yeah, I've looked into this, and my understanding of this, having looked at a lot of this, but not all of it, is that it is sometimes hard to draw a distinction between victim and co-conspirator. And like, let me highlight this in a very sort of obvious way. Ro Khanna, who's been one of the loudest voices on the Epstein file. Well, he became very loud on the Epstein files the minute Donald Trump became president, didn't seem to care about it during the Biden administration. He actually brought one of the Epstein victims, I think, to the State of the Union last year, or maybe it was the year before last. Well, like that victim, and I'm not saying she wasn't a victim. I don't know anything about her particular case. She was also listed as a co-conspirator in some of these documents, right? So there's an idea that some of the people who were engaged in the sex trafficking were also, facilitating it as well.
So they were incentivized to get more girls.
Yeah, but yes, that's right. But the idea is that it's hard to sort of, it's sometimes a little bit of a gray area between, some of the people who were alleged victims were also alleged co-conspirators. And so what DOJ tried to do was kind of make that judgment as best they could and release as much as possible.
So again, trying to justify why co-conspirators are also censored, even though the most co-conspirators, like Donald Trump, allegedly, clients, Howard Lutnick, the other abusers are also all censored because one or two of them might have been also victims as well. So he's saying, really, Trump's censored in there. If Trump's in there at all, he's censored because he's a victim too. He got fucked in the ass by Jeffrey Epstein. That's what happened. He's a victim too. Now, I was wondering why he's doing any of this. Why he's trying to explain these things. I guess it's to his base, right? The Joe Rogan audience is their base. Well, part of it is this. Where is it? Oh, hang on. I forgot a clip. How could I forget a clip? I never forget a clip. There's the clip. There we go. So this is the reason. Because I've been screaming at the top of my fucking lungs on this space. Stop giving Tucker Carlson airtime. Stop giving him credit. Stop saying, oh, he said something we like. Let's elevate him. Let's try to bring him into the fold. Fuck this motherfucker. Let him go the way of Bill O'Reilly or Meghan McCain. They both still have shows, but nobody's paying attention to them. They're not going viral every other day. They're not being pushed. People aren't going, oh, man, they're saying something we agree with. Let's embrace her like the Democrats embraced Liz fucking Cheney or George W. fucking Bush. Stop falling for it again. Watch this clip from Tucker.
So the Republican Party, the fact that you've left it, does that mean you've given up on J.D. Vance leading the Republican Party, being the next presidential candidate, and it being a different Republican Party to what you see now?
Well, I think if J.D. Vance were president, of course he would not be at a war with Iran. It's impossible for me to imagine J.D. Vance standing up and saying we need to have two wars to defeat a phantom nuclear program. It's like too insane. I think he has too much self-respect to say something like that. I don't think he believes it. I think J.D. Vance would have led the Republican Party into closer alignment with its own voters. But he was not the president. He's the vice president.
He's meaning he would have been a better president for what I want. They would have gotten away with Project 2025 a lot smoother because we would have rolled it out a little bit slowly. A little bit ease people in, slowly choke them, slowly place the noose around their neck. Don't just slap a noose around their neck. They're going to realize it's not and try to yank it off. You got to make them believe it's a necktie.
And he doesn't have the authority.
Yeah, but he could be the next presidential candidate.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I wish he had been elected president in 2024, but that didn't happen. I love JD. I've never been shy about that. I've taken a lot of abuse for saying that. I probably haven't helped him at all by saying that. I don't agree with him on everything, of course, but I think he's an honest, very smart, decent person that puts him above almost all politicians I've ever met. And so I'm on some basic level rooting for him, but it's just hard to imagine.
You left the Republican Party, but you're rooting for him. You're rooting for JD. And this is now what makes it clear to me. Tucker Carlson doesn't want to run for office. Tucker Carlson wants to be Rush Limbaugh. He wants to sit on the sidelines, but have the power to say, I want that candidate. That's going to be the candidate. I have a powerful voice. I have a powerful audience. We see the Republican primary. I point to JD Vance. My audience votes for JD Vance. I get to select the candidate. That's what he wants to do. And he wants JD to be that guy. Again, JD was fucking nobody. JD, in case you forget who he is, JD Vance wrote a book, okay, called Hillbilly Elegy that came out in 2016. It was a memoir by J.D. Vance about the Appalachian values of his family from Kentucky and the socioeconomic problems of his hometown of Middleton, Ohio, where his mother's parents moved when they were young. And it's all about how he worked hard, pulled himself up by his bootstraps, got into Harvard, and Harvard, the kids there were looking down on him because he come from Appalachia. And that would have been a sympathetic film or a book that got turned into a film directed by Ron fucking Howard, starring Amy Adams and Glenn Close. If the lesson was, hey, screw those Harvard guys who are looking down on me. I'm proud of where I come from. But that's not the lesson of the book or movie. The lesson of the book or movie is, yeah, Appalachian kid, you should try to aspire to be those Harvard kids. You should try to get your seat at that table like Jay-Z wants, and then become them and work for them like I work for Peter Thiel. If this movie that won Oscars, if he could have written a follow-up, he could have had a career as a screenwriter or an author. But that's not the plans that JD had in store for him, or rather Peter Thiel had in store for him. They said, you're going to run for Senate in Ohio. And he got it. And then he said, you're going to be the vice president. And he got it. Because Don Jr. and Eric Trump and Elon Musk all said, go with this guy. He's the tech guy. You're basically hiring Peter Thiel to be the vice president, but without the horrible visage of Peter Thiel. You got a cleaned up package. He looks normal. Kinda. And he's as corrupt as us. He loves it. Agents have shared concerns internally about Vance and his office, pressing them for trips and assignments that some agents consider an inappropriate or even unprecedented use of government resources compared to prior vice presidents. He's getting in on the grift too. He's having fun. Welcome in, Rolo. How are you? What's going on? Welcome to On Flow Fridays on Raw News and Politics. I am your fill-in host / co-host when she's here. When Gina's here, Alex of Devil's Advocate Productions, and this space being the media collective where me and Gina met, and the reason I'm the co-host. JD Vance and Tucker Carlson are planning not necessarily a coup. I mean, everything's a coup with them. They love coups. But kind of, yeah, a coup. You know, the anti-Israel, but not quite. It's a rebranding exercise is all it is. Like, Tucker didn't leave the Republican Party. He even said in his screed about leaving that I'm not going to go join the Democrats now. I'm not going to become a progressive or DSA socialist guy. I'm just politically homeless. I left the left, but the right. I left the right. Basically, you don't have my tacit endorsement. I am not a Republican. I am Tucker Carlson. I'm not black. I'm OJ, like Jay-Z will say on a song that I haven't gotten to yet. I'm Tucker Carlson. Court me. Court me and my vote. Court me and my endorsement. That's what he wants. And I hope they don't give it to him. I hope this fractures the whole party. And I believe it will. I believe it will. So once again, my name is Alex of Devil's Advocate Productions on YouTube. Devil's Advocate Productions over on Twitch. I talk about movies, music, TV, and video games on my channel with politics thrown in because, of course, art is inherently political. I'm also a host on this space, live Mondays through Thursdays. We're going to have a Discord coming soon. That is how I met GINA. She is one of the hosts. Also have Logical Leftist, Ben Dixon, Boston Brian, Cosmopolitics, Movie Night Extravaganza. There are games on this space. There are movie talks. There's a discussion panel show on Thursday evenings now. This is what's going on if you're just tuning in. I am filling in for GINA. That's what's happening. Next, ICE. ICE is doing fucked up shit. As we talked about earlier in the show, it is connected to the voting of the midterms. They're definitely going to put troops at poll sites, try to discourage people from going to the polls, from voting. Going to try and probably arrest lawmakers, kill lawmakers, maybe not seat lawmakers who won their elections, because we're going to associate them with terrorism. If you're anti-American, you're terrorism. What is anti-American? Well, whatever we decide. You protest the data center, you're anti-American. You have pink hair, you're anti-American. You want to put Lupita Nyong'o in the Odyssey, you're anti-American. And they will kill you, as has happened in Maine. They don't even need to do it. Here's a video of someone pretending to be an ICE agent. Actually, no. This is ICE in plain clothes. You wouldn't even know that this is an official government officer coming to arrest you because they're thugs.
Whoa, what's going on? What's going on?
They do it here. I got to think they go.
What's going on?
I don't know what they're doing.
What's going on?
I don't
What's going on?
It's law enforcement.
What's going on? We can still have the right to know what's going on.
Hey, my God. Everyone.
And you see, they walked away because they're being filmed. They left.
Are you okay?
What are they doing?
Are you okay?
Everyone back up.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on.
And airport security is doing what he thinks he needs to do and say, hey, this is law enforcement, stop. But the law enforcement's running away.
Oh,
hey, who are they? Hey.
That's law enforcement.
How do you know that's law enforcement? Did they show badges? Like, what the fuck is this?
Right, yo, dude.
Like, they are just walking through the airport like they're other regular people. And we also have a video in Maine, but this is in Chicago. a woman being dragged out of a car. The car was surrounded by other officers, thugs, and they shot into the car, and she's screaming, "There are kids in this car. Please don't shoot into this car." Yeah. So that's ICE doing ICE things. Now, this is about the officer in Maine. According to the wife, where is it? Where is it? No. I had it pulled up. Hold on. This is the wife, the ex-wife,
David back
of this officer in Maine, giving her description of his character.
David back in November brought up that he had accepted a job with ICE. I thought that it was just a delusional thing because I'm used to him talking crazy, so to speak. So I said, yeah, sure you are, buddy. I didn't realize that he was actually working for ICE until yesterday, and I was completely shocked because I'm like, how do you keep getting into these jobs where you're around guns all the time? I asked him what was going on. He told me.
That's a good question. We should investigate we should audit the hiring practices of every fucking police department in this country, every law enforcement agency in this country, and find out how the fuck they keep hiring violent criminals. These are violent criminals with violent tendencies to not only carry weapons, but to have legal authority to use them however they see fit according to their training that they supposedly get, that Susan Collins votes for.
That I don't need to be answering questions for anybody, that all I needed to know was that it was a justified shooting and that he did do it. And he claimed that this man had tried to run.
Once again, like the Boozy story, I don't know who you are, but you shouldn't do it. It was a justified shooting, but I didn't do it. The election is rigged if I don't win. If I did win, then it was fine. This is their ethos. It's my way or no other way. It's only my way.
Him over. And I said, I don't see that in anything. And I've watched it from all angles. All I seen is how the car was going in circle after the fact. And then he's like, well, I need you to lie about my character because this is what it comes down to is my character. I don't want you talking about any of the abuse in our relationship. Like, this is literally about me, actually. I told him that I was not going to lie for him, that I've waited years to speak my truth. I've been silenced long enough. And now I need to come out with everything because a man lost his life. It was abuse, not only to me, but to our daughter. And even being divorced from him, I've dealt with harassing phone calls, threats of him wanting to kill me. I believe that this man was murdered. I believe that David's mental health played a part in what happened. I think what happened was he was standing there during that operation, had a PTSD moment and hit fight or flight mode. And unfortunately, a man lost his life.
I mean, that's even being gracious that he had a PTSD and just wasn't like, you're annoying me, I'm going to shoot you. This is the wife of the man who lost his life. Of Juan Sebastian Duran Guerrero. Her name is Carolina Rojas. The audio on Twitter is shit. I'm sorry. So this is her giving her speech. Strongly. Like, amazing. Horrible. This has to happen. Because it doesn't. It doesn't have to happen. Because people like Janet Mills allow it to happen. By not... You're the governor, Janet. Order the National Guard to arrest ICE on site. Go to fucking war with the federal government. Go to war. Not actual war, but like, hey, I'm giving you an order. Go arrest these goons. Go stop these goons from harassing people. That's what J.B. Pritzker should have done. That's what Waltz should have done in Minnesota. This is Janet Mills trying to get a photo op at the memorial and people chasing her away.
And someone died here. Are you kidding me right now? You haven't been to Bitterford. The only reason you're here is a PR stunt. Get out of here. If you don't want to be here, then don't. And send your ice with
And Newsom. Thank you.
Do something here. Do something.
Do something. Don't kneel in kente cloth to support Black Lives Matter. Pass some fucking laws. Audit these police departments. How are they hiring violent offenders? Audit the churches. How do they keep passing these pedophiles around from church to church? Just like the cops pass around violent people who get fired from one police department. No problem. No problem. I'm sorry you even had to like be suspended with pay. We'll just move you to a different department and there you go. It's the same shit. Synagogues do it too. Mosques do it too. FBI does it too. They all do it. The military. We were talking about the military earlier and their rates of sexual abuse that Jesse Waters can't wait to increase. This was AOC's response to a question asked on Trump reversing course on halting ICE from doing traffic stops. So ICE was going to stop and say, hey, let's not do traffic stops anymore. Because the goal isn't to stop this stuff from happening. The goal is to stop people filming it and it going viral and they get a bad look. Tom Homan in that clip said, there will be more bloodshed if people like AOC keep talking like this. So again, the goal is not to stop it. It's to stop getting bad press. And then Trump said, no, fuck that. We're not even going to try and mitigate it. Again, they don't even want to pretend that what they're doing is wrong. They're offended you even think it's wrong, that you even question their authority. They're annoyed they even have to explain themselves. Stephen Miller, Marco Rubio, annoyed that you're even questioning them. Here's AOC.
Thank you. Congressman, what are your thoughts about the Trump administration immediately reversing itself on, because yesterday they said they were going to reverse on ICE and vehicle stops. Then President Trump puts out a statement saying they're going to continue. What are your thoughts on that?
This is the guy that said he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and people would still support him. And now he has an agency shooting people out in the street. And at this point, it's practically a campaign promise from this guy. It's atrocious.
Mr. Mullen said that he was going to try to get the DHS off the front page. Well, now it's on the front page for 2 killings. And
again, that's the goal. Get it off the front page. Not to stop any of this. Just to get it off the front page. We don't want people talking about it. We don't want people to think about it. Because if they think about it, they might oppose it. And then if they oppose it, they might oppose us. They might vote against us. They might protest. And then we'll have to call them anti-American terrorists and arrest them all. And then there might be even more resistance. We might accidentally create our own fucking demise, which is what they're fucking worried about.
We were talking yesterday about Senator Collins and like how she was able to get Mark Wayne on the phone. What do you make about the fact that ICE is still doing this? Because you said this wasn't going on when there was no money for ICE, no money for.
I mean, I think oftentimes when we see an institution, the outcome of that institution, when it's repeated and sustained and reproduced, oftentimes ends up being either overtly or subvertly the purpose of it. And this administration campaigned on cruelty and violence against immigrants, and that's what they're doing.
That's what they're delivering. They campaigned on it. They promised it. They told you this is what they were going to do, and they're doing it. This is a promise fulfilled. This is a promise made, a promise kept from the Trump administration. And this is the culture it breeds. This is a particularly disgusting moment because this is a black woman threatening to call ICE. But when someone threatens to call the cops, a couple of years ago, there was that story of the white woman in Central Park, black man walking his dog. Or is it the white woman walking? I think both of them had dogs. And the white woman started filming the guy and saying, "Please get away from me. You're scaring me. I'm going to call the police." And we all recognize that as a threat. She was going to call the police because she was uncomfortable seeing a black man. And she was going to use the state to enact violence. Just like a white woman did against Emmett Till a couple decades ago. And now, some black folk that do not understand where they sit in the white supremacy believe that they can call ICE on people too.
Maybe we should call ICE on you. You're going to call ICE on me? Oh, say that again. Say that again. Maybe you need to be, because you don't act like a citizen. Get away. Who are you going to call me? Hello. You're going to call ICE on me? Get away. Say that again. She said she's going to call ICE. Call ICE on me. I dare you to call ICE on me. Call ICE on me, lady. Call ICE on me. You want the police to get I want ICE, like you said. Call ICE on me. Call ICE on me. I cannot hear you. Say it again. Say it again. You need to get say it again if you got some guts, get it out my face. Say it again. Get out my face. Say it again. Get out my face. Say it. Your ass is fired. You're getting fired. You get fired. You get fired, and I'm suing you not.
I don't even know if this guy is in the right. He could have been a total asshole. And she's just like, "Get the fuck out of here. That's why I'm filming you. I don't know what to say. I'm calling ICE." The fact that this is a threat people are throwing around at each other is the culture that Breitbart, Steve Bannon, Donald Trump, Mike Pence, all of them cultivated over the last 10 years. It's going to take a lot to undo this. It's going to take a lot to undo this. And what's going to help is this. It's going to help. It's not everything, but it's going to help. Yeah, calling ICE is a death threat at this point. Absolutely. Calling the police is a death threat. This is going to help. Workers deserve more. Platform from the DSA. You don't have to join DSA. I'm not part of DSA yet. If I could figure out how to join and not pay a monthly fee, monthly dues, I will figure it out. But you should read this plan. I'm going to post this in the chat. You should read this plan for yourself on your own times. But they have a bullet point platform here. And all of these things, getting some of any of these things will help change the culture of this country. That is what they are afraid of the most. That's why they fought so hard against Zohar Mamdani. You get any democratic socialist in a position of power where they can actually affect change, then you see the example. You point to that and go, why don't we have a Mamdani here in Ohio? Why don't we have a Mamdani here in Louisiana? Why don't we have a Mamdani here in Colorado or Arizona or Maine or Michigan. Because look at what's going on in New York. Look at how much he's getting done. This is just the first year. This is what they're afraid of. That young people my age and younger, I am not that young, do not remember the infamous words of Ronald Reagan, where he said the scariest phrase is, "I'm from the government, I'm here to help." That actually, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help" should actually give you hope and not terror. Not a threat to call ICE or the police. That the police maybe could actually be helpful. Maybe. Now, police in particular literally came out of slave catchers. So how can that even be reformed? Must it go the way of ICE and be abolished? Maybe. Probably. But at the very least, these policies, these are what I'm looking for when I hear a candidate speak. I want to hear things like this. All of these things. Some of these things, okay, I'm interested. All of these things, I'm paying attention. I'm advocating for you. And we got to be careful, because I advocated for Plattner and I was wrong. I thought, oh, we got a good candidate in Maine. And then over time, more and more scandal, more and more controversy, kind of backed off promoting him. Till last week, and it was like, oh, we're definitely done. So it can't just be anybody walking out there going, hey, free Palestine. That's popular now, right? Free Palestine. Because that's what Tucker Carlson's doing, even. Going like, Israel kind of sucks, actually. Just a little bit. And people are already going, oh my God, we got to promote him. Mehdi Hassan and Ryan Grimm. We got to promote Tucker Carlson. We can reach across the aisle. Red-Brown Alliance. Falling for the old Jimmy Dore, Jackson Hinkle thing. I can't believe it. And if you're just tuning in, which I doubt, because the viewer count has steadily gone down, I'm Alex of Devil's Advocate Productions over on YouTube and Twitch. I talk about movies, music, TV, video games, whatever I feel like talking about. I'm also a host over on this space on YouTube. Independent Working Class Media Collective. That is how GINA and I know each other. That is why I'm hosting her show in her absence. And I will be co-hosting every Friday on Flow Fridays going forward for the foreseeable future. The DSA, thank you, Pinkerbell. The DSA, I watched that stream on Tuesday night, and I was inspired. This Sunday, they're having another stream to promote Cori Bush and another candidate. Let me see if I can find that out. Okay, let me see. Cori Bush, DSA Sunday. There we go. The Black and Radical Tradition, Chris Rabb. July 19th, 8 p.m. Eastern. Oh, so this is a DSA members only call. So maybe I can't. Maybe I can't jump into it. But I'm going to try. I might join. I might just join just to be part of that call. And you can too. And you know how I know it's effective? One, Republicans are terrified. Two, Democrats are terrified. And three, that call on Tuesday, the next day on Wednesday, saw footage from that call on Fox News. There was some Fox producer in that call watching, recording, clipping it for the shows so they can point to this platform and say, isn't this radical and scary? Aren't these things radical and scary? If your kids come home from college, because you're no doubt an old person watching Fox, and they say any of these things, turn them in to ICE. Turn them in to the police, because they are an Antifa terrorist. That is what they're saying. So I have a couple more segments. We're going again, a little extra long today without GINA, because we're wishing GINA well. Hopefully she's here by next week. But in her absence, I will give you more show than you could possibly handle. This is a short segment, very short. But I'm here in New York. Knicks won the championship. I got this jersey that is way too small, so I ordered a bigger one. It's a Patrick Ewing jersey. Jim Dolan, owner of the Knicks and owner of Madison Square Garden, who, by the way, is a big Trump supporter. That's why Trump showed up to Game 3, and they fucked up Game 3. That's why he then ended the watch parties outside of Madison Square Garden after Trump showed up, to be like, it wasn't Trump who disrupted traffic. We just have to do this anyway, even though it was going off without a hitch when the Knicks were playing in San Antonio. Also rented out to fellow billionaire Taylor Swift the Madison Square Garden for her wedding, which featured a lot of ICE officers and right-wing tech billionaires and all sorts of sordid people. And I'm sure she'll have some recording of it that she's going to put on Disney Plus and sell to her audience a million different covers of the same thing. That is how she makes her money, by the way. She adopted the K-pop strategy of, we're going to put out an album, but there's going to be different collectible covers. So you're going to, instead of buying the album once, you're going to buy 10 albums of the same album because they have different covers. Jim Dolan, owner of the Knicks, has been using surveillance, how an MSG database tracked and categorized hundreds of celebrities, famous Knicks superfans, and even some of Taylor Swift's wedding guests. Interesting. Labels included LGBTQIA, do not host, and low to high risk. In April, we published our first story about surveillance machine at Madison Square Garden, an operation that allegedly tracked a trans woman, lawyers, and protesters, and more. I remember this story coming out in April. There was a Knicks superfan who kept, had season tickets and would show up to every game, and they banned her. They banned her because Jim Dolan didn't want to see that person in the stands. By the way, thank you so much, Buddy Linton, for subscribing. Appreciate that. Over on Twitch, I am co-streaming to my Twitch channel and my YouTube channel as well, so thank you very much. And now there's an update to this story. Jim Dolan is suing Wired. This popped up last night. Earlier today, Wired learned that Madison Square Garden was suing us for our accurate reporting. We stand by this reporting and plan to vigorously defend it against this baseless and ridiculous lawsuit. We look forward to continuing our coverage of MSG and on billionaire James Dolan's use of technology across his entertainment empire. It's one part of our wider mission and the critical job of journalists, now more than ever, holding power to account. Wired also, they are a tech outlet. They talk about not just the surveillance at Jim Dolan, his use of it at Madison Square Garden, but the flock cameras appearing everywhere, Palantir, crypto, Elon Musk, Tesla, SpaceX, all the ghouls who are trying to carve up this world into their own personal kingdoms. And you think I'm exaggerating? I'm not. Peter Thiel said this. They want to control, they want to have cities, city-states, instead of countries. They don't care about countries. They are not patriotic. They're not loyal to any place or person other than themselves. They want to create city-states where this town or this city has one business, and it is our business. Every corner store is our corner store. Every product in those corner stores or grocery stores or hospitals is our products. We are making money, whether you're buying food for your family, whether you're going to work, whether you're buying a Christmas tree, whether you're having fun at a movie theater. We own all of it. We're making money coming and going. And Wired would be another a foil to them because they're reporters, they're journalists. They're trying to get rid of any kind of legitimate journalism still left in this country. That is all. That is all on that story. And once again, I am Alex of the Devil's Advocate Productions on YouTube. I am doing these interstitials, by the way, so that when Gina watches this back, she can know that this is where the segments begin and end, so she can edit it out if she wants to clip any of this. It's all for you, Gina. I'm an editor. I have an editor brain. I know what it's like to scroll through 2.5 hours worth of footage and be like, where's the good parts? Where do I put the cuts? Me and Gina met on this space, a working class independent media collective. There are several hosts. There she is. Boston Brian, Pepaganda, Pep Talks, Logical Leftist, Left of the Box, Cosmopolitics, Movie Night Extravaganza, American Wasp, myself, Andrew Rovinsky. Live Mondays through Thursdays. Mondays is mostly syndicated content, but if you haven't seen it, you haven't seen it. And the chat is always bumping. The chat is always bumping. CoreSight AI has been getting rolled out as facial recognition and police body cams too. An Israeli software company, absolutely. The UK and Edmonton, California, that I know of, probably on a more wide scale, absolutely. Absolutely. Like we were talking about earlier, the United States government is talking about merging our government with the Israelis, or the militaries, rather, merging our militaries. What does that even mean? Never heard of that before. And that's where I come in with my idea. Hey, I'm president, or AOC's president. 2/3 of the American military now belong to the United Nations. Will only be deployed if the United Nations has a consensus on where to send them so that we can stop countries from committing genocides. That's our good faith. Our military that is bigger than every other military on earth combined. We're going to take 2/3 of that. That's not ours anymore. You work for the UN. You outrank every military on earth. And all the other countries can contribute troops of their own, so that the UN has the biggest, strongest fighting force on earth and can be deployed to stop genocides. Now, again, that would have to be a restructuring of the UN so that the United States doesn't have outsized influence. Israel, Russia, these countries don't have outsized influence on votes. But if we're talking about merging the Israeli and the United States military, I don't see why that's not a possibility. So I have 2 segments for you. 2 last segments. This one is a good one. This one's a positive one. I want to leave you on a positive note. Okay? Once again, been talking about the DSA and the platform, the Workers Deserve More platform, which I encourage you all to read, because these are the tenets. thriving working class community, working class foreign policy, working class democracy. And under each of those are clickable links that will explain each of these pillars. Democracy for all, real democracy, democratic Congress, economic democracy, democracy at work. Unions, getting rid of the Senate and the filibuster, getting rid of the Supreme Court. Foreign policy, ending the war machine, freeing Palestine, ending blockades, embargoes, and sanctions on places like Iran, Cuba, and abolishing ICE, a fair immigration policy. Working class communities, freedom to flourish. Your needs are taken care of. You have a right to housing. You have a right to food and water. You have a right to electricity, healthcare, housing. So you can, if you want to paint, you don't have to worry. You can paint. You can make music. You can go on vacation. Finish Reconstruction, racial justice. It is a core problem, a core piece of the rot in this country is because we never finished Reconstruction. Ending mass incarceration and police immunity so that fuckers who shoot people in the street or people who get suspended from police can't just be shuffled around into other departments like we we're just talking about. Feminism for all and a Green New Deal so that we can maybe stop the goddamn wildfires that are blocking out the fucking sky in my city. And we have some examples. First of all, Republicans are doing our work for us. Here's RNC Research retweeting Hassan interviewing a candidate for Florida. I think he's going up against Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
Speaking of ICE, you brought it up earlier. Do you support the abolition and the prosecution of ICE?
Yes, abolition and prosecution.
Okay.
I think it's important.
What about Debbie Wasserman Schultz? What's her assessment on ICE?
She supported building in 2011 an ICE detention facility in Broward County in the Southwest Ranches. She signed a letter saying this is good for the economy and recommending to the ICE director to build that facility.
God. Speaking of
Debbie Wasserman Schultz, if you don't remember, because I do, helped fuck over Bernie in 2016 in favor of Hillary Clinton. And then joined Congress from Florida, because Florida is very conservative, and they loved her for that. But yeah, Republicans are doing our work for us. And even when they criticize, they go, oh, can you believe that they want housing for all? And people go, yeah, that sounds pretty good. And we got, of course, here in New York, Mayor Mamdani giving examples for the rest of the country. Announces first ever New York City Parks Parents' Night Out. Giving parents and caregivers a free evening off. Free drop-off program offers children an evening of supervised recreation while parents and caregivers enjoy a few hours to themselves. Families can register online from July 13th through the 20th. This is literally, Hillary Clinton said it to invoke Hillary Clinton's name. It takes a village to raise a child, right? And she got criticized. All the Republicans said, no, it doesn't. Individuals. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Fuck the collective. Fuck the village. Fuck community. Stay on your iPhone. Don't go out. Don't talk to your neighbors. Stay isolated and atomized. Man, Mamdani going, no, we're going to have a babysitting program. Hell, he says, every parent knows just a few hours to yourself can feel like a luxury. It shouldn't be. That's why we're launching New York City's first ever Parents' Night Out, so that parents can get a little time on their own to catch a movie, run errands, or go on a date without worrying about who will take care of the kids or how much it'll cost. Making New York City more affordable isn't just about lowering costs. It's about giving people back their time. This administration is committed to making it easier to raise a family in the greatest city in the world. These fuckheads, J.D. Vance, Tucker Carlson, Stephen Miller, in that clip we played earlier, said families are good. You know what's good. Families, children, right? White children, white families, the picket fence, the 50s nostalgia ads that they think was reality. Here's Mamdani actually helping parents, actually helping families, actually helping families become healthier and flourish. Because when parents aren't stressed, if I have to fucking be with these kids all the goddamn time, I don't have any fucking break, it can create tension. But when the parents get a break, okay, I can handle this. Drop them off at the playpen with people who are certified child caretakers. That's the importance here. An example for the country. It says only from July 13th through the 20th. This is a pilot program. They're seeing if this can work long term. I told you I was going to end with good news. This is Mamdani going into Rikers. He's humanizing prisoners. He's humanizing prisoners because they are people. They are New Yorkers. Like he said, they're New Yorkers now. They're New Yorkers when they get out. It's about rehabilitation. That's what prisons are supposed to be for. They're not. It's a slave ring. That's what it's for, really. The 13th Amendment that abolished slavery. Said abolishing slavery except for people who are incarcerated. So then what do? They made more things illegal, specifically black communities, put those people in prison. Now we got slaves again. That's what they want to do with ICE. They want to license it out to different corporations and say, hey, you need people to help work on your farms. You need people to help work in your factories. We'll license our prisoners to you. They'll work for barely anything. You don't even have to pay them sometimes. This is the beginning of closing Rikers, which is the beginning of a broader national movement of ending the prison industrial complex. And today, Mamdani explains why, even though the city council passed a bill to raise their own pay and the pay of some government employees, Mamdani won't be taking that pay.
If the city council passes this pay raise bill, I know you've said you won't accept.
I will not accept a pay raise.
Can you just elaborate on why?
I haven't knocked on anyone's door in New York City, and they've said their concern is that the mayor makes too little. So,
Thank you, everyone.
That's not my concern either.
It's not going to your pocket.
I think to go to the pockets of those who are struggling in this city.
That's the man. That's what we should expect from all of our politicians. I'm not trying to get rich here. Like, I don't care if there's a pay raise. It shouldn't have gone through. If it passes, it shouldn't have passed. And if it does, that extra money, I guess I'll try to redistribute it to the people who actually need it. Like a good public servant would. So yeah, folks. That's the show. That's the show. Once again, I am Alex of Devil's Advocate Productions on YouTube and Twitch. This is my channel. I talk about movies, music, TV, and video games. With, of course, some politics in there because art is political inherently. I don't avoid it like a lot of other channels do. And I also don't try to push people right wing like other channels do. I try to push them to the left, at least a little bit, with my reviews and my reactions and my playthroughs. I'm also on this space, the Working Class Collective, live Mondays through Thursdays on YouTube. This is how I know Gina. This is why I'm the co-host and the fill-in host for Aunt Flo Friday for the foreseeable future, because we met on this channel where there are tons of different hosts, Boston Brian, Logical Leftist, Cosmopolitics, tons of different kind of shows. People play video games on there. I play video games on there. Talk about movies. Also, hard news, breaking news. Our goal is to get to a 24/7 news channel, leftist news channel on the internet. Not just on YouTube, but our goal is to be on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, every platform, and have our own site. So if any of those go down or any of them start really cracking down on left-wing content, you can come to our site and we're live. If breaking news happens, who's live? Who can I watch? This space is going to be live. That's our goal. So we want to build that up as much as we can. And the very last thing I will do, because my lovely, lovely off-screen wife just got home, she's walking the dog around, I thought we'd have a little fun. This was the last thing that I wanted to share with y'all, because on Sunday, one of the things that happened this week in news was Lindsey Graham passed away. Suddenly, at 71. Vaxxed? Question mark. But someone made a game. Someone made a game called Lindsey Graham in Hell. And I wanted to share it with y'all. So let's see here. WSD, arrows to move. Hold space to jump. E is shoot. Let's see here. We have to find Birdo.
Lindsey Graham in hell. Lindsey Graham in hell. Lindsey Graham in hell. Lindsey Graham in hell. He never met a war he didn't like.
Music is amazing.
Overseas was among his favorite pastimes. A warrior senator against trans rights. Getting fucked by trans women was among his favorite pastimes. And sucking Donald Trump's dick.
The music is
Attaching
great.
himself like a barnacle to a ship. And Donald Trump, he couldn't give a shit. When asked about him dying, Donald said nothing about Lindsey and just pointed out how it would be harder now to pass the SAVE Act. Lindsey Graham in hell. Lindsey Graham in hell. Lindsey Graham in hell. Lindsey Graham in hell.
I will do it. All right, so that was Lindsey Graham in Hell. If you want to play it yourself, I will put the link in the chat. That was just a little fun thing to do at the end there. Shout out Mac Figueredo from Leftist Mafia for putting me onto this game. That's hilarious. I encourage you all to play it for yourselves. That's going to be the show, folks. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Again, once again, last time, what do we say? Subscribe to Raw News and Politics. Subscribe to me, Alex from Devil's Advocate Productions on YouTube. I'm also on Twitch, where I will play games like Lindsey Graham in Hell or Crimson Desert, Ball X Pit, GTA 6 when that comes out. We're going through Resident Evil 4 still, God of War Ragnarok. I got a lot of stuff on my channel. Album reactions, movie reviews, trailer reactions, video game reviews and playthroughs, and trailer reactions, TV reviews. Lots and lots of stuff on the channel. This space, the Working Class Media Collective that me and Gina met at, the reason I am the co-host, the reason I am here to fill in for her. Well, she is not feeling up for it today, and hopefully she'll be back next week. And we'll be continuing to do this on Flow Friday for the foreseeable future. Thank you so much, folks, for watching. Really appreciate y'all. I am going to figure out dinner with my lovely, lovely wife and continue to watch The Ultimatum on Netflix because we love our trash TV. Yes, we do. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.